Amy McEnany. Amy McEnany. Okay. Okay, if you're staying for the meeting, if you can take a seat. If someone will close the sanctuary doors, please, as you come in, just so that if there's still folks milling about, we've got the quiet. Nathan, we need the podium mic.
Hello, everybody. Whoops. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for being here for our annual meeting. And at 11:37, I'm calling the meeting to order. And before we start our meeting, of course, we would like to have Robin give us the opening prayer.
So let's just take a breath. Close our eyes and settle into this holy moment. Such a divine gift to come together as a spiritual family, to ensure that we have our house in order, to take right and perfect next steps, to celebrate our blessings and achievements, and to set intentions for the future. We are grateful for everyone here who's present, everyone who might be watching online, and all the other members that were not able to be here in person. This ministry is a great gift to this community and to this world. We are blessed, and we surrender in that God and the Christ consciousness are the head of this meeting, and we know this to be true, that wherever we are, God is, and so it is. Amen.
The first thing we'll do is introduce the board. I'll go first. My name is Ali Nieves, and I am currently the president of the board, and I'm going to pass the mic to the board members so they can introduce themselves and tell you what position they hold.
Oh, I'm Lisa Figueroa. I am a member of the board. I'm a trustee, yes, thank you.
Jacqueline Wands, and I am an alternate on the board.
Chris Dukes, I'm the secretary of the board.
Jim Thompson, I'm a trustee.
Amy McEnany, I'm the vice president.
And the next item in our agenda is the secretary's report. Deb? Did you want to say something, Deb? So we have a motion to approve the secretary's report. Anybody second? All in favor? Thank you. Okay, so now we have our treasurer's report, and Robin is going to give us the information on that, so we all know what our current financial situation is at church.
So the two pieces of this puzzle, one is sharing with you how we completed 2025, and the other is sharing with you the budget that the board has approved for 2026. So first step is final answer for 2025, and it's a good one. know that as of the 1st of December, we were in a $26,000 deficit. And in the month of December, the combination of the gala and the generosity of all of you and special year-end gifts, we completely erased that deficit and ended up in a surplus, which the wonderful thing is that got our reserve, our accessible reserve, back up where we need it to be, because because any time we have a deficit, it takes out of that reserve. When we don't bring in as much as what goes out, it comes out of the reserve and reduces that. So we did end up very strongly. We had almost I think it was $62,000 of income in the month of December. It's the biggest month I recall in my 14 years here. So we are very, very grateful to all of you for stepping up, for responding to my letter, because as I said in the letter that I gave out, one of my deepest wishes was to ensure that when I do retire, that the church is in solid financial standing to navigate the transition, and as we see here, we are, and so that's a wonderful thing. And I also just want to say that doesn't mean, because sometimes when people see numbers like that, they're like, oh, I guess the church doesn't need my money anymore. That's not true at all. We want to carry this forward and continue your regular tithing and generosity to support this coming year. So before I show you the budget, we've got very minimal information we're putting on here. We do have copies of the budget. We can get you a copy of the budget that has a little bit more line item detail, but the issue with this year, you know, I create the budget in working with the board, but the primary thing that I usually factor in is I think through the year ahead about what types of programming we're going to do, what types of events we're going to have, what classes I'm going to teach, and I have no idea what any of that is going to be, because it's not going to be me. And we don't know the exact timing of the new full-time senior minister. We don't know what sort of contract will be negotiated. So I was doing kind of a lot of guessing. What I essentially did was take most of the numbers from 2025 and move them over, along with Chelsea's assistance. If there was anything on the expense side, some of our services that costs went up on things like the internet and so forth. But this is a best guess, and what will likely happen is when the new full-time senior minister is in place, that person and the board will probably do a revisit and reboot and have a second half of the year or something addendum to the budget that aligns with what they have in mind and all of that. So, but this was a best guess of what we put out. So as I said, these numbers are quite similar to what 2025 was and the surplus. And we did build into this budget, the one new thing we built in is $20,000 towards the search process, which I'm going to talk to you about in just a couple minutes. So we want, and we may not need that much, but we wanted to make sure that there was enough to make sure to manage through the search process. So that's where we are. But again, I guarantee you that budget is likely to be amended at some point in the year to account for new programs, new plans, new salaries, and so forth. So that's best guess, but I figured I'd put out a good intention of good news for that. And in our church, the membership does not vote on the budget. It gets created and approved on by the board. We simply present it to you so that you can see that. But if you want to see in my best guess budget, if you want a copy of the one that has the different categories on it and a little bit more specifics, you can just email the office and Chelsea will send that right out to you, because as a member you have the privilege to receive that more detailed information. But we thought for today, since a lot of it's guesswork, that's where we'd go. So that was that, and then I think we're right into my next piece. My report, you know, the first part is always gratitude, and my cup runneth over with how incredible this community is and has been. We had a wonderful 2025. You continue to be at the highest level of volunteering and service and generosity and love. Anybody that's ever come here that's ever been in another Unity church says there's nothing quite like this place.
Yes, that's true.
Nothing quite like this place. And so I just thank you all for all of you that have volunteered and served and stepped up and given and shown up to support and be part of of the great things that we're doing. And so the second part of my report is always, here's what I have planned for this year. And what I have planned for this year is to leave in a month. So, so what I want to do in my report is share with you a few pieces of the process for how you get from my retirement to having a new full-time senior minister. So the first step in the process, and know that the board and I, for about 6 months since I announced to them, have been working with, or more than that actually, since last summer, have been working with Unity headquarters and with the transition department and the employment department, and we're following the wisdom of those who have walked churches through this countless times. And the wisdom from everyone that we spoke to was that the first step needed to be to hire a transitional specialist because of the length of time that I've been here. And there's also kind of the intertwining with my mom. You know, by the time I leave, this church will have been run by a writer woman for 24 years. So it's going to be a big change. And so when that happens, in order for the church to succeed in next steps, they encourage bringing in what's called a transitional specialist. And these are groups of Unity ministers who have gone through extensive training, and this is their job. They come into churches for a finite period of time, and they help the churches walk through whatever healing needs to be done, and then they help to guide the process of the search. A transitional minister, one part of their contract is that they cannot apply for the full-time job. So it's guaranteed right out of the front that this person will not be the permanent person, which is helpful energetically for everyone. So the board and I worked for about 2 months, and we worked with the advice of headquarters, and we interviewed 2 different candidates, and we chose Reverend Carla McClellan. She is based in Kansas City. Her house is actually about 1 minute from Unity Village. I have known her my entire career. We were in seminary together. She was in the class behind me. And I have worked with her. She worked at the Unity Retreat Department. She had her own church there for a while, but has, for I believe about the last 12 years, has been in the transitional field. So she sent us just a short little video so that you can get a visual and hear her voice and hear what's on her heart about coming to you. So we've got that now.
Hello, friends at Unity of Venice. I am Rev. Coach Carla McClellan. I'm the daughter of Unity ministers, also a certified life coach, and have been a transitional specialist for many years. It is my joy and privilege to be with you as we honor and celebrate all that Rev Robin and her partner have done for this amazing community. I will be arriving February 12th. And I know you have many, many questions about what this transition will be. How long will it take? When will we have our next minister? And all those questions that are important. But what's really important is our relationship. I'm not here to fix, to change, or control you. But what I'm here to do is to be your soul's best friend. I want to reflect back to you the brilliance of your light, and I want to invite you and empower you to shine it even brighter. We will become clear and focused about our purpose and our mission at Unity of Venice in order to draw to us the next right and perfect minister. Charles Fillmore once said, "There is no demonstration without enthusiasm." And that's where I come in. I am filled with enthusiasm. Enthusiasm for what the Unity movement brings to people, the possibility of transformation, and the certainty of knowing what's our next step. With faith, we move forward. With imagination, it all becomes possible. And we will do this creation together. As I said, I will be coming February 12th. We'll start with listening circles, where I just get to listen to you, to your story about Unity of Venice. Until then, my friends, be blessed. I am so thrilled your board has chosen me to lead you through this process. Bye now.
Thank you.
So yeah, the board feels very confident. As in various interviews with her, one member of the board said that she reminded them of Reverend Edwene Gaines in her energy. She sent us out some YouTube videos of some of her Sunday talks and her style. She's very vibrant storytelling, and she in many ways reminds me of my mom, because she kept talking about the importance of this work that she's coming to do is about relationships. And my mom told me very early on in my career, yes, there's a lot of skills you need for this job, but your number one job is to love on the people. Yeah. And if you love on the people, everything else will take care of itself. And when I heard her speak, that's exactly what that sounded like to me. So, yeah, she'll be in town. She'll arrive in town on February 12th, so she'll be with us the last 2 Sundays of February. She'll probably do the opening prayer or a small piece of the service. I'll still be giving the messages. She will not be attending March 1st, my retirement celebration, because we both agreed that's best to be about me. But she'll be around during those weeks. Those of you that are part of study groups and classes and things during those weeks, she's going to pop in and sit down and meet you all and say hello, and I'll be doing orientations and getting her connected with the staff and so forth. So her 2 primary jobs in this church, sometimes these transitional ministers get sent to churches that have gone through some sort of massive trauma or a split or a conflict, and they have to do a lot of forgiveness work and healing work, and that's not the case here. We're a strong and vibrant, connected community. The biggest thing she's going to support you in is your grieving and healing and letting go of me and my mom. And then the other piece she will be doing is she will be helping to guide the search process, because she's gone through this many, many times with other churches. So a couple pieces about that. The process is that a search committee will be formed, comprised of members of the congregation. That is not going to get formed until after Reverend Carla is here, because she's going to help guide that process. I know there are quite a few people that have given names to some board members and expressed their interest, but nothing has been decided. No one is officially on the team at all. There's going to be at least one board member, there will be a chairperson, and then there will be a group of members of the congregation. We're thinking that it's probably going to be somewhere between 8 and 10 people. The first step for that group is going to be creating what's called a vacancy packet that gets put up online, that is a description of who this church is and what this church is looking for in your new spiritual leader. And then once that's clear, and again, Carla can help guide that whole process, then once that's ready, that goes up onto the Unity Employment webpage. So any Unity ministers that are interested in employment search that page, and if they're interested, they send their resume first to Unity headquarters, and then headquarters will send it here. The reason they do that is to make sure that the only people that resumes come here for are ministers that are in good standing with the major master organization. And so the search committee will be going through those resumes and probably doing Zoom interviews with the people that they find an interest in, and then at some point we'll come down to where they'll select 3 candidates that are sort of the final 3, the top candidates, and then it will be scheduled that each of those 3 on separate weekends will come here for a whole weekend. And what that weekend likes will be determined by the board, by the search committee, but oftentimes it includes perhaps a social time, an interview with the board. They obviously do a Sunday message and lead the service and Q&A with the congregation and so forth. And once they've all been, then the search committee will poll everybody, check your favorite, and then they will come up with a recommendation from that. They'll send their recommendation to the board, and then a special meeting has to be called, because in this church, in order to hire a senior minister, 75% of the membership have to approve it. So Everybody gets a say. It's not anything that the board will hand down from on high. They will give it, once it's gone through all those steps, the board will say, we'll call a special meeting and say, we are recommending XYZ person, and we take a vote. And then at that point, the board will begin negotiating with that individual and timing out everything. So it is something that all of you that have gone through the membership process, which just, again, another PS, if you haven't gone through the membership process, you don't get to vote. So you may want to come join me on Saturday if you haven't. But so that's the process. As far as how long it takes, that is up to God. It varies drastically. My guess is that within this church, it will not be I mean, there's some churches that it takes 2 years because they don't get any resumes when they put their packet out. But I'll tell you, I already have 3 close friends and colleagues who are all really awesome, visionary, powerhouse people in the Unity movement that have come to me to ask questions and expressed an interest. Before the position's even officially open. So I think because of who this church is, I mean, we live in paradise. It's a debt-free facility, 5 gorgeous acres. We're one of the biggest churches in the Unity movement now. We're one of the top 10 in size and in vibrancy. So there's a lot of boxes that are checked with us. So I believe you're going to get to choose from the best of the best, and know that everybody keeps saying, but it will never be the same without you. And as I said a couple weeks ago, no, it won't be the same, but it doesn't mean it's going to be worse. Remember the cheese. Maybe I'm Brie, but you're probably going to get applications from Parmigiano Reggiano and Munster, and I mean, you're going to get some good cheese options to choose from, and I will be holding that process in prayer. And the other thing to know is that one of the pieces of my code of ethics that is a requirement from Unity headquarters is that when I leave, that I cannot come back for at least a year. That is a requirement that Unity asks for any minister that leaves a church, which provides for the opportunity of the transition, of the letting go, and the new minister to be able to get established. So after that point, I'm sure there'll be a time I will roll back and do a guest speaking gig, but I will not for the first year, so that I can honor my code of ethics and honor the transition in a beautiful way, trusting that it will be going very well. And Reverend Leslie will be staying in her role as associate minister and continuing to teach classes and lead the smaller groups, and at least until the new minister gets here, I can't attest for what that person will do, obviously with regards to the staff, because it'll be their new spot and they can make changes if they choose. But through the transition, she will be working with Reverend Carla. So that's the sort of the big nutshell. Again, as far as timing, no guess. But I definitely don't think it's going to be 2 years, for heaven's sake, because there's people kind of chomping at the bit already to want to be able to come here and serve. So, but we want to make sure Carla has the opportunity to do her process and do it well, and that the church has the space. It's kind of like if you had been in a 24-year-long marriage and got divorced and then started dating somebody 2 days later. It's not likely to work very well, because you still have all the stuff from the other thing. So you got to have some space, let everybody clear, let the energy clear, and decide who you are and who you want to be going forward. So that's that process. Does anybody have any questions about that piece? As I said, Reverend Carla is going to guide you through it, answer those questions, nurture the process wonderfully when she gets here. Cool.
Thank you so much.
I didn't have any questions.
Yeah, no, thank you. And of course, everybody is invited to her big celebration of her retirement. We are planning wonderful, beautiful things for that day. It would be lovely to see all your faces here, and actually everybody else. The next item on our agenda would be to call Emily Adams, our head of a search committee, to the stage, please.
It is my pleasure to address this. We have one open space on our board because Ali Nieves, I got it, Right. I always struggle with her last name. Has finished her term and will be stepping down. And we received an application from an extremely qualified candidate, and we are presenting Larry Cardarelli to be voted on as the next board member. He has extensive business and construction experience and will bring wonderful skills to the leadership team. We also have a need to fill the alternate position because Jackie Wands, who has been an alternate, has stepped up to finish Sue Hunter's term. And according to our bylaws, the alternate is appointed by the board. But we are thrilled to appoint Melanie Fitchett to join the team. She brings business experience as well as a passion for Unity teachings and the community building. That's it.
Thank you, Emily. And thank you for all this beautiful work you've done over the years, Emily. So I would like to initiate a motion for to approve Larry's nomination. Mike? Thank you. Thank you so much. Got it? So. Can you stand up? I'm not sure I know who you are. Yeah, we're gonna have Larry, can you please come join us? And Melanie? Welcome. You want to say hello?
Thank you, sweetheart.
You know, I've been a member here for a few years, and I think I've found a place that I'm most happy in serving as well. So I look forward to working with all of you and to a future that Unity has that will be only better.
Thank you. Please have a seat with us. Have a seat.
Hi, my name is Melanie. I'm thrilled to be part of the board now as an alternate. I first came to Unity in 2010, became a member in 2011, and I'm thrilled to be able to step up and share my talents with you and serve in a new way. So thank you.
And now the final item on the agenda is, oh gosh. Okay. So on the
Chairperson for next year's committee.
Oh, yes. I would like to request if there's anybody who is interested in becoming the chairperson for the search committee.
No, not the search, nominating
For,
committee.
no, I'm sorry, for the nominating committee. Thank you. For the nominating committee this coming year. Any volunteers? Oh, we have Mike once. We have Mike once interested. Thank you, Mike. We're going to be in good hands. Thank you, Mike. And thank you, Emily, for everything you've done. Thank you. Absolutely. On the 5th of this month is 28 years since I've been a member of this church. I came here when I was pregnant with my son, Brian. And yeah, so time has gone by pretty quickly. During that time, I became a prayer chaplain for 11 years. I've been singing with a choir, which I hope will be another 11 years. And then I have been serving as the president of the board for my last term here. During that time, I am grateful and so appreciative for all of the support that I received from Reverend Robin, from this beautiful board, and from all of you. Phew. But everything good comes to an end, I will stay here. This is my church home, and we will continue to do great things. So at this point, I would like to tell you that I'm going to be passing this beautiful gavel to my friend Chris Stooks, whom I've known since we were praying chaplains in 2008. And he has been serving here in various capacities. But he is going to take this gavel now and lead us into other good things that we have ahead of us. So I welcome you, Chris.
Well, thank you, Allie. And again, thank you for all that you've done. You've just been tireless in her service. You have no idea how much time she's put in. You might know, but she's been great. And so again, once more.
Allow me to chime in for just a second on that. I will never forget the day that I asked you to come and meet me in my office after Spirit tapped my heart when I knew that we were going to need a new board president. And I said, you looked at me with this face, and I said, "You're here because I want you to be the next board president." And she was like, "I knew that's what you were going to say." And you said yes, and just have been right by my side and walking through this with grace and wisdom and joy and enthusiasm. And you have been for so many years, and I know will continue to be such a blessing to this church. But I'm so grateful that you stepped up to say yes and served in the way that you did.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So I'm looking forward to working with everybody. I've already been making a list. I'll be checking it twice. For people to keep in touch with, for the search committee, we've already been in contact with a lot of people who want to help. And that's one of the great things about this church. Normally, you're looking at 30% of the people doing 70% of the work, and here it's just the opposite. We have such a active and giving community that I know we're going to have wondrous things in store for us. So with your help, we're going to make it good the rest of this year and next year and on and on. Anybody have any questions? Comments? Yes?
How many total members are there, and how many will be required to vote for the new minister?
We're up to about 200.
We're up to about
300?
350 that have gone through the membership process, but because of the seasonality of the community, they're not all here all the time.
And the way it works is that we announce the meeting. A quorum is who shows up. We're not tasked with having to have 50% of the membership show up to a meeting. So what we do is we announce our meetings. Those who attend, like this is a quorum. And so we need 75% of this to approve something, who shows up at the meeting. We don't do proxy votes, things like that. Does that help? Anybody else? Can I get a motion to adjourn? I motion to adjourn. Linda Ware. Second? Jay? Jay Kasmark. All in favor? Aye. Anybody want to stick around? Adjourn.
And our closing prayer in honor of my granddaddy George. Thank you, God.
Thank you, God.